Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host and crazy host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I do greet you honestly with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I do continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And so, good morning, everybody, from here because it's 12:45, and it took me a few minutes to get my stuff rearranged. Hey, Tracy, Alex, the Ganja Man, and Miss Delaney, always Miss Pearl. I didn't get it. I looked in my email and saw something you sent me, but I did not take the time yet to watch it, but I will. Um, I get distracted easy. So it's like if I stop to watch whatever that I can't, no, 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 no. I'm already slow behind. But anyway, so um, as many of you know, and hey, Chloe, how are you? Miss Chloe is one of our new moderators. Point that out because she's got original clobber to crack out of you. Um, yeah, I just got home late with getting stuff and trying to get on with Robert and having my stories and everything, and I just haven't done it yet, Miss Pearl, but I will. But anyway, so in the many stories that Robert and I have done, there's a lot of stories that I have skipped over, okay, because they were a little lewd, risque, maybe not so much for like children's ears. And um, the stories that I've been reading up to this point are stuff that I was hoping, and Robert has. He's done the native shorts, and through whatever how long our shows are. Like tonight was one of our longest, an hour and 45 minutes. Not intentional, but it ended up that way. But he takes the stories and makes them into shorts and publishes those. And I want to keep those as clean as possible. However, I think they are very interesting and should be shared amongst us adults without having to worry about um, Rosalie Wilson, Dante, been finding other hybrids like us. Absolutely. When I found out he was back in January, he probably gets arrested a lot, you know. But um, yeah, healing hugs to everybody. So, but anyway, so tonight after doing Robert's show, there were several stories that was like right around where I was reading from, and I was like, I don't want to do this one on Robert's show, but it really is a good story, and some of them are funny, and some of them are just strange. All right, and I pondered on the title, porn, like the first word, but for some people who would read these stories, they would go, "Oh my God, he said the word. He used his penis." Well, if you got it, use it. But and I don't mean that rudely, but if you ain't got one, you can't use it. Simply put, um, but that the penis was used in it, right? That the word. And there's another story that's like claws. That's that's humorous. Of course, it involves our number one semi hero, Coyote. You know. But anyway, so I want to read. I'm Rose. I'm doing my own way to serve the cause. Good. That's why I put out the videos that I do about the 72 plus. There's many things that we as just regular human beings do that We are not part of the Shona front line, getting shot at front line. But there's lots of stuff of folks on the sidelines can do to support everybody else that truly is getting shot at. But anyway, so tonight, um, oh, I've been wanting to do a porn show. Ooh, talk nasty and dirty and use the word penis. Ooh, are we done yet? Now, for a long time, personally, I think a particular, oh God, I don't want to start out rude right at the beginning like this, pissing everybody off at once. But I think that certain, I'm trying to find, y'all help me with this. This is a touchy subject. But I think it's certain puritanical values and morals and mores. Like back in the day, if you saw a woman's ankles, it was like, woo, Of course, there are men who still have fetishes about feet. So, um, but so if Native, and I don't mean just Native American peoples, okay? I'm talking Native peoples in general, all right? Folks in the African jungle or in Borneo or in Brazil in the Amazon. I mean, folks are going to sit around the fire. Now we got to understand that them kind of folks know about body parts right off the hand. They're not covered up. They're covered because running through the jungle with your wang dang hanging down, getting slapped in certain body parts with bushes and sticks and stuff like that. um, so in the title I said, is it porn or is it smut, or are they simply in these stories describing like normal activities, like this guy tried to sleep with the other guy's wife and he got caught. And when he tried to sleep with the other guy's wife, his wife swapped with her wife and he actually slept with his own wife. That's one of the stories I want to read. Ictomy sleeps with his own wife. And so it's like, what? And she tricked him. It's funny. So, but there's stuff like that that happens like in real life. But I think in like I've talked about this before. Down there was, it's on YouTube probably still. African tribe. Guess where in Africa? I should have said a tribe in Africa versus an African tribe. But anyway, so all these folks are pretty much naked. A bunch of them, hundreds of them. Okay, with cell phones taking pictures of the whole thing, and it's a tribal thing, and everybody's around. Nobody's like freaking out because most everybody's naked in some way, shape, or form, and nobody's being lewd or nasty. There are kids there, whole families and generations, and ain't nobody worried about the fact that they're naked. Okay, they are not looking at that at all. Well, I can't say at all because whoever you look at, they're naked. But to the point though, so they don't see it, the fact that they're all naked, as being like, ooh, nasty, dirty, pornography, oh, we're all going to hell. I just, so it's like, is it nasty? No, to them it's not. To them it's very natural. It's normal. But you take some of these white folk, you know, and take them there and say, hey, look at them. Well, my God, they're all black folk. Them black folks are all degenerates. Would you shut up over there? They're not degenerates. You're the degenerate because you can't see their point of view. You're the one that's degenerate. So, but anyway, so for lots of native tribes and traditions when, and I kind of sort of argued this point with some folks. I mean, argued. Um, the folks in Mexico, when DeSoto and all these people showed up with their boats and waving to the Native Americans, they're like, covered from head to toe. Even the men got like, they're wearing pantyhose and, they're dressed in funny and they got hair all over the place. And don't you think them Native folks looked at them and went, what is with these people? And they're on these big things, right? Monsters. But so for the native tribes, now they did have clothes, but um it wasn't if oh my God, there's a woman who's breastfeeding her child. Oh, that's lewd. You can't show it. Cover them up. And hey, Kimba, got many tribes in LA, Bakersfield, Anaheim. Yeah, I bet you. There is a war at all levels. You're right, Rosalie. Absolutely. Skyclad rituals are fun. Now, I have been with um, groups of folks where being naked just don't matter. Okay, they're called nudist or naturalist, or But if you say something like that and you go, "What? You mean you were naked around other people? Yeah, and they were naked too. Yeah, y'all were naked together. Yeah." Did nothing happen? Nobody's doing nothing. But yeah, to answer that, yes, we was all naked. Now, some folks would automatically say that's pornographic, right? Because of their standards, the way they've been raised, and to them. So when the priest came over with the Spanish, who invaded the Americas and screwed everything up from the beginning. God says you're naked in the eyes and you must be clothed and you must do all this other stuff, right? When the native folk are looking at each other going, are you naked? Is she naked? What the hell is naked? We run around like this all the time. This is natural. Oh, the priests are like, oh, these heathens and these and all this stuff, right? To them, the native people were savages and pornographic. Must be covered, for shame and all this stuff. They brought shame to the native peoples. You don't have any clothes on. God can see you, and He doesn't like it. Cover yourself up. Hey, Cole, slaw. Uh, but so anyway, the mores, the morals of a people. You know, naked, yes or no? Show a little extra cleavage or something. Ooh, maybe not. Oh my God, you're wearing a mini skirt. Wait, my jeans are too tight. I can't feel my feet. I can't because my legs will fall asleep. My tiny buns are better known than even Vanna White's. I stand up day and night because my jeans are too tight. But anyway, a country western song from a few years back. Now, I cannot remember who sang it, but anyway, it's one of my favorites. I like the tune. I like it. I like it like that. Well, you take Sally and I'll take Sue, and we're gonna rock away all our blues. Come on, and let me show you where it's at. Come on, baby. Let me show you where it's at. Knee slapping. There you go. But so what is pornographic to begin? What is porn, right? Well, it depends on who you are, what you are, where you was raised. Now, those there are folks in France that got nude beaches and all, and they just walk around and don't nobody care. Don't it ain't because it's just, oh my God, they're naked. Yeah, so what? But they're naked. Yeah, so what? But they don't have any clothes on. Again, so what? But they're naked. Here we go again, right? So but it's immoral. Why? They don't have any clothes on. Okay. Honestly, I can see that, wrinkles and all. But so where do you want to get off on this, right? So we have to kind of establish what is natural, literally, just by just not having any clothes on, to a lot of folk, that in and of itself is porn, is pornographic. Okay. Just want to state that. So, what some cultures and peoples and tribes and whatever have believed in for thousands of years, what I don't know, I say normal public, whatever, would consider, ooh, bad, wicked, mean, bad, nasty, porn, ooh. All right. So, Native folks didn't do a lot of pictures. Not They did on teepees and stuff and medicine shields and then that type of thing. But as far as at least as far as I know, they don't have any porn books out there, you know. But the French and Germans, a long time ago, used to paint these special little cards of semi and naked women's. And they were all the rage between princes and maybe some princesses who liked other women too. Now I ain't making no judgment call, and I ain't telling you should, if you think being naked is wrong, okie doke. But I just ask you to ask yourself, why do you think being naked is wrong? That's all. Because God said so. I've learned that that's not necessarily a good enough reason. God says it's wrong to be naked. Okay, I will take a bath then in a rubber suit. Latex, baby. So, my 20-minute little introduction to thoughts on porn. And we just have to understand that, you know, um, if you'd have told me as a little kid growing up, trying to look at, oh my God, you seen somebody's skirt or a piece of a girl's panties under her skirt, that that there would be women on the internet who do it for free, and you can see every part of them inside and out in close up and in high definition in color, live and in color on the internet. Like what? Oh yeah, you just click on this one or that one or over here. What? Um, Now I would scratch my head and go, maybe that was a little further, but between consenting adults, okay, right? So, but what is porn? Obviously, I mean, there are granny ladies older than me who are doing porn live on the internet. Like, I don't think I'm whatever to do that. Okay, just don't think so. No, I just don't think so. But they're spreading their body parts out for anyone and everybody to see for free. You know, Now, if you pay a little more, you can have a private session. God knows what goes on there. But so now I want to mention this. Okay, in a lot of countries or places or whatever, um, prostitution is legal. In Las Vegas, legal, whatever. Okay. Now, is it right or wrong for a woman to sell her body or a man to sell his body to a woman? Because that happens too, y'all. They always say, well, it's the guy. There's the other side too. So, but in this discussion of porn, this, that, and the other thing, so what you say is good for the goose is good for the gander, or what's good for the guy is good for the woman, or vice versa. So, okie doke. All right. Well, two of my wives, ex wives, where I found out later on, were trying or did fool around behind my back. And here I was trying to be the good husband, not do that ever. I didn't. I had an opportunity or two where I was like, "Oh Lord Jesus," and I have kind of sort of regretted it a little bit, but not in the sense that I have kept my own dignity. I have kept my own promise. I did not. Did I look at another woman and maybe go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." Okay, I ain't gonna lie. But as far as taking it any further, no. Lusting after another woman, no. Come to find out, two ex-wives, like, fondling other men. I'm sorry, but I did not fondle other men nor women. Okay. So, and I'm proud of that, really. So, but from a porn standpoint, so there are those who would never do that, right? And then there are those who swore they never did, but were. So making up a story of, well, it's wrong. I wouldn't do that. Well, then how come I found out you did? Well, you opened your blouse and showed your boobies to three guys just for the hell of it. I'm sorry, I did not drop my drawers and drop my stuff and show my junk to three women. Okay, it's okay for you to show your boobies but not that I want to show my junk to anybody, but to the point, you got away with it. I didn't even think of it. And, you know, and kind of sort of got accused of like, well, you were flirting with them women. I'm sorry. I did not open my chest and show my tiny little chest hairs and my little nipples. No, I didn't, honey, but you did. So, what about this? So, what's porn? Now, you got to take into these considerations. There's all these different kinds of practices with different peoples and tribes and other side of the planet, other side of things. Somebody's talked to somebody on a trade route. Hey, did you know that? What? Yeah. She was upside down. Yeah. On a sling and a swing. Yeah. Holy moly. So, how many what the what is it? The Indian thingy with all the different positions, right? Polymorphs, mini. Right. I'm talking about this, and I'm sorry if some folks might be embarrassed, but I ain't trying to get in your, see what you're looking at. But, we have to be a little bit more light about some of this stuff. Not necessarily do we have to accept it, but versus, oh my God, that's so bad. And come on, at least chuckle a little bit. What about beyond meat vessels? Plant-based meat vessels? Thank you, Chloe. Kamatsura. Wait a minute. Kamasutra. No, I know it's Kama Sutra. I was trying to. Now, I was legally married and suggested that to my partner, my wife at the time. She's like, "What the is this?" And I said, "All them Indians do it." you know. And then later on, I come to find out she was like, well, one of her girlfriends had talked to her about it, that her boyfriend on the side, because her husband wouldn't do it, had tried some of these Kama Sutras. Anyway, so, but I'm going to leave it at that. Enough personal life stuff, but, you know, um, and I will just toss this out there too. What one person says is kinky may not be the same definition of somebody else's idea of what's kinky. Okay. You know, a ball gag and, manacles and a whip, that's a little kinky. But, defecating and peeing on someone and all this other stuff goes to a whole nother level of kinky. I'm just saying. So, not that somebody says, well, that's a little kinky. At what level of kink do you want to discuss this? Anyway, so now onto the stories. I just wanted to kind of set a basis. There are certain of these things I've been wanting to like put out there for a while. I think people get way hung up too much on seeing a little bit of skin. Now, I'm not necessarily for people running naked in New York City, okay? But some of the mentalities of people on both sides, I think there are people who take it way too far for the simple shock, the shock value of something. And I think there are people who are just way, way, way too prudish. Ow, oh, ow, crap, ow. Oh, oh. Thank you all for asking about my hand in the other video. Um, I was up against there. I burned the woods a couple of weeks ago, right? And it needed it, and there's green coming back up already, so it's already looking better. But walking through, and it rained 4 inches here at the house, and there are places in the backyard that are more swampy than it was before. And we were taking a walk and seeing where the water was coming in, and if it was on the rise or if it already, hit its peak. And leaning up against this tree that was a good 25 foot tall, and at the base about yay big around, just damn near straight up, and leaned up against it, and I could feel it wobble. And I looked up and I went, "Ooh, this could hurt somebody." So my buddy catches up to me and I go, "We need to." And I started to move away from it, and I thought, no, if I just leave that tree like that, wind could come or something and bonk somebody on the head like me. And I said, no, I think I'll push it over. And I gave it just a tiny shove. And the top of that tree, the tree went, let's see if I can do this sideways. So the tree went this way. And as it bent, the top stayed in the same position as I looked up. And I just went, okay, I'm good. And the next thing I knew, when it snapped, this part fell down and hit me on the hand. Anyway, so I just smacked it. I've got some ictomy stories. The ictomy is spider, okay? And the one that got to me that I want to start off with first, I got to turn it around this way. Oops. Um, is ictomy is tricked into sleeping with his own wife. Like what? Like what? Um, oh, here's one. Ictomy has a bad dream. And hang on, I'm just looking at that one. It's a short story, but it's got its moments because it uses the word penis in it. Ictomy sleeps with his wife by mistake. It's a funny story, and I'm fixing to get to that one. So, um, I think Coyote's Rabbit Chase is one, um, where they try to he tries in with the other's wife. But so anyway, to me and the ignorant girl. So, but anyway, um, these are sort of not necessarily pornographic, but it depends on who's doing the reading and what their point of view is. Okay, so this is Brule Sue. Now let me get a. It's 1:17. It's almost time for a 20, and I'm ready for one. I need some painkiller. I found out in the last day or so that picking up the coffee pot has put a full pot has put it's heavy. Like wow, ouch. You know that hurt right there too. It's really sore. I'm really glad that it isn't broken. I'm not sitting here trying to try to get sympathy from y'all. I really ain't. But holy mackerel, ow, ow. But anyway, so um, I need I need my other. This print is small enough. I have to have my other double pair. This is a double pair of glasses routine here. So I'm looking for all my stuff. I'm trying to get set up here. All right. Ictomy. Spider sleeps with his wife by mistake. Ictomy was dissatisfied. He was restless. Looking at his wife, he thought, this woman has become old. She's become ugly. Her face is wrinkled. Her breasts are sagging. She's all dried up. It's no fun sleeping with a woman like that. I must have a young, pretty girl. I must have a young girl soon. His wife was looking at him. She knew him well, and she knew that look on his face. And she said to herself, that no good husband of mine, he's thinking of some young, nice looking Winchinchella. Kind of sort of meaning a prostitute or possibly whore, but Winchinchella, not of giving me a little pleasure, I'll fix him. Well, I'll go out now, said Dick to me. I have things to do. I bet, said his wife. Ictomy was looking for a young girl to seduce. He saw one he liked, young and handsome, with laughing eyes, a laughing mouth, and clear, smooth skin. She wore a fine white doeskin outfit with little bells attached to it so that she made a pleasing sound when she moved. This is the one, thought Ictomy, the one I shall sleep with tonight. He went up to the girl and said, pretty young Winchinchalla, is this your teepee you are standing in front of? The girl just giggled and laughed. I have many pretty things I could give you. The girl just giggled and laughed. Tonight, after everybody's gone to sleep, I'll creep into your teepee. You be on the left side of the door. The girl just giggled and laughed. I'm a great lover, boasted Ictomy. You have no idea of the pleasures that await you. The girl just giggled and laughed. She did not take Icto seriously. He was so comical. But Ictmy took her laughter for an assent, an agreement. Well, I'll go now. Tonight, I'll make love to you. Don't forget, at the left side of the door. From her teepee, Ictomy's wife had watched it all. After Icto was gone, the wife went up to the girl. Winchinchala, she said, has that no good man asked you to sleep with him tonight? Why, yes, said the married girl and laughed. I knew it. In this teepee here? Why, yes, in this teepee, the girl said. Well, where do you sleep? Well, he told me to sleep on the left side, close by the door. Ah, Winchinchala, let's you and me change places with each other. Let's exchange clothes. What will you give me? Asked the girl. Why, this nice choker of red and blue beads. And what else? Said the girl. These fine, big hair strings made of rare dentalium shells. Oh my, these are pretty, she said. All right, let's change places tonight. So the Winchinchala put on Icto's wife's clothes and went into his teepee to sleep, while Icto's wife took her place. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Ictomene crept into the pretty girl's teepee. At the left side, he heard a woman stir, heard a slight tinkling of bells. He crept over there. Oh, pretty girl, he whispered, it's me, your lover, Icto. There was giggling in the dark. Oh, pretty one, how fresh your mouth tastes. Not like the mouth of my aged wife. There was more giggling. Ah, how nice it is to fondle a firm young breast, not a sagging one like my wife's. There was more giggling. Oh, pretty young one, how full of fire you are, how ardently you make love, not just lying there like dead, like my old woman does it. There was even more giggling. Oh, pretty young one, how full of fire you are. Oh, how pleasantly moist, how wet, how juicy this is. Not dry like my wife's. There was more giggling and squirming. Oh, oh, and more giggling and squirming. Well, this is certainly enjoyable. Oh my, yes, this was fun. Well, I must go now. Maybe pretty soon we'll do this again. There was a last giggle. I wonder whether this Winchinchala ever opens her mouth except to giggle, he thought to himself. He was panting. He went home very slow because the woman he had slept with had tired him out. By the time he got to his teepee, his wife and the pretty girl had already exchanged places. They were now where they belonged. Ictomy lay, Ictomy laid down beside his wife and fell asleep. In the morning, when he awoke, his wife was already up and about. Old woman, he said, I'm hungry. Give me something good to eat. I'll give you something, said his wife, and hit him hard with her turnip digger. Stop, stop, you crazy woman. What are you doing? So, my mouth isn't fresh? and she hit him again. Oh, have pity on me, said Ictomy. So, my skin is wrinkled? She was beating him all over. Oh, don't do that. It hurts. Stop. So, my breasts are sagging? She hit him again. The blows were coming thick and fast. Oh, you're killing me, said Ictomy. So, I'm all dried up, huh? I'm not pleasingly moist. She was hitting Ictomy harder than ever. Have pity. I'll never sleep with anyone but you. Liar, she said, and kept on whacking him. Ictomy managed at last to crawl out of the teepee and get away from her. He was running, afraid his wife would catch up with him. A long way off he stopped, hurting so much all over that he could hardly move. His mind was hurt too. So I slept with my ugly old woman, he thought. So she tricked me. Oh my, I'm losing my touch. If I don't watch out, I'll make love to an old she monster next. I must be more observant in the future. After a while, he got hungry. Nobody would feed him. Then he limped humbly back to his teepee. He entered, cooing, making sweet talk. Old woman, you're still the prettiest. Be peaceful now. Didn't I give you a good time last night? So, what's for breakfast? And Duggar ended that story. So, it's not really porn, but it's not the normal, right? Kind of story that you tell with kids around the campfire. Um, but it is a cute story, you know. Uh, here's a short one about ictomy again. Okay, and by the way, the last one was yeah, ictomy sleeps with his wife by mistake is Brural Sue, and this other story happens to be through the same tribe. So these folks you might say these folks had a weird imagination or whatever. Anyway, ictomy has a bad dream. Let me catch up. Once in the middle of the night, Ictomy woke up in a cold sweat after having a bad dream. His friend, Coyote, who was visiting, noticed something wrong. Friend, what's the matter? He asked. I had a very bad dream, said Ictomy. What did you dream of? Asked his friend Coyote. Well, I dreamed I saw a very pretty Winchinchala about to take a bath in the stream. It doesn't sound like a very bad dream to me, said Coyote. Well, this girl was taking her clothes off. I saw her naked. She had a very fine body, said Ictomy. My friend, decidedly, this is not a bad dream, said Coyote. I dreamed I was hiding behind some bush at quite a distance from her, said Ictomy. As I watched her, my penis began to grow. It grew exceedingly long. It was winding toward her like a long snake, said Ictomy. There is nothing wrong with this dream, said Coyote. My penis was like a long, long, long rope. It went all the way over to that girl. It went into the water. It touched her. Kanji cousin, let me tell you, I wished I had such a dream, said Coyote. Now, my friend, the tip of my penis entered that girl. She didn't even notice it at first, said Ictomy. Koala! I'm telling you, this is a fine dream, shouted Coyote. Then my penis entered the girl all the way. She seemed to like it, said Ictomy. This is a good dream, said Coyote, as I ever heard of, my friend. Just at that moment I heard a great noise, said Ictomy. I had been so excited in my dream that I hadn't noticed a team of horses pulling a big wagon. It was right on top of me, a Wasichu's, a white man's wagon. It was coming at a dead run, and the white man was whipping his horses. This wagon was very heavy, my friend. It had very heavy wheels of iron. It was going between me and that girl. Friend, you were right. This is indeed a very bad dream, said Coyote. Dogger, Dogger, get down here. What is he doing upstairs? Dogger, Dogger, get down here. Get down here. What is up with you? You don't go up there. No, it's the middle of the night. We ain't going out to play. Oh, hell no. Nope, 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 nope. Go on back over there. Go on. It's in the middle of the night. No. Get up on your bed. Go on, get up there. We had to see you, Rosalie. Uh, we had to leave Duggar here to the house while we went to town, and he ain't had enough attention. And I've been on the internet since I got here. But anyway, so there are these stories like there was an Indian from Nantucket. That's as far as I know where to go. But the idea, though, that they had their, I wouldn't call this porn, but it is risque. You know, ooh, this could be, he said the word penis and, oh, and breast, Let's see. Here's a short story. Coyote's Rabbit Chase. And a lot of times from the title, you don't really know what it's about till you get there. So this is from the Tiwa tribe. Coyote got up early one morning, feeling unusually full of pep. He trotted along the ridge of a wash just as the sun was beginning to appear on the distant horizon. As he ran, he spotted a small, lumbering figure moving slowly below him. He loped down to see who it was and recognized Badger. Greetings, brother, he called. Quietly, Badger wished him a good morning. Coyote had already hatched a plot to get the best of Badger, so as the two paused to visit, Coyote said, "Brother, it is such a fine day that we shouldn't waste it just wandering around. Why don't we have a contest and a wager? Let's each spend the day hunting rabbits, and at sunset, we'll return to this spot with our catch. Whoever kills the most rabbits gets to spend the night with the other's wife. What do you say, huh, Brother Badger?" At first, Badger did not think this was such a good idea, but fearing that Coyote would call him a coward, he accepted. As the two set out in opposite directions, Coyote felt that there was no way that he could lose. While he ran, he imagined how it would be to spend the night with Badger Woman. After a while, he spotted a jackrabbit nibbling grass in a shady spot. He took off after it, yelling, "Yip, yip, yip," and off he went for the rabbit. Now, this jackrabbit, who had also just emerged from his hole, and he too was full of pep on this morning, he led Coyote a merry day long chase up and down the washes, over hills and through forests, and Coyote was serenely confident, thinking, "This jackrabbit should be all I need to beat old Badger. So slow and so cumbersome, so nearsighted, I doubt whether he'd catch anything if he had a whole year." In this fashion, the days slowly waned. Just before sunset, Coyote finally wore the jackrabbit down and caught it. He hurried back to the rendezvous with Badger, feeling quite sure of himself. Meanwhile, Badger had hatched a plan of his own. Soon after their parting, he hurried to a system of rabbit holes that he knew were nearby. And at the first one, he began to dig with his powerful claws and muscles. In short order, he caught several half asleep rabbits. By the time he made his way through the entire tunnel system, he had 12 of them. These he laid out in a row above the tunnels as fast as he caught them. So while Coyote was just getting into his jackrabbit chase, Badger already had 12 rabbits. Badger leisurely took several trips to carry his catch to the rendezvous spot, and then he searched until he found a spot of shade to wait for Coyote. He was surprised when Coyote appeared, worn out, dripping with perspiration, carrying only one jackrabbit. When Coyote spotted Badger's catch, he realized that his trick had backfired. That night, Coyote had to remain outside his own den while Badger made endless love to his wife. Throughout the night, these love making sessions were marked with howls of pain from Coyote Woman because Badger has a drill shaped penis which hurt her terribly. Coyote didn't sleep at all that night, and the next morning his wife, very sore from the exertions of the evening, said, "Old man, you think you're so smart? You lose contest, and I have to pay for your stupidity." Thus was the story of Coyote's rabbit chase. Now, I've noticed in reading through these stories that it seems like the guys are always wanting to trade their wives. Like, "Hey, well, if I win, I get to sleep with your old lady," kind of thing. Like, now, did anybody ask the wife how she felt about it? I mean, just asking, right? Here's one. Always living at the coast. And it's Huacatul. Reported here is another dangerous, amorous encounter similar to that in Teeth in the Wrong Places. Now I'm somewhere there's that story. Let me have a little smoke on this here cigarette because I haven't really had a break since I was on with Robert. So anyway, always living at the coast. Coyote was paddling his canoe down the coast when some people called out to him from the beach. Coyote, where are you going? They asked. Well, I'm going to marry the daughter of always living at the coast, he said. Well, only a crazy person would do something like that, they replied. That made Coyote angry, and he paddled over to the shore. He turned all the people into birds, and then he turned the flock of birds into deer. You will be the deer that men need, he said, and he departed. Soon he passed some other people who were standing on the beach. Coyote, where are you headed? And he told them. Coyote appreciated their concern. He came ashore and put mussels and salmon in the water, which is why you still go to this place for those same things today. A while later, some other people called out to him, asking him where he was going, and he told them also. The chief then said, be careful, Coyote. All my young men have gone there to marry this woman, and none of them have come back. Coyote came ashore and filled the waters along this beach with mussels and gave the people roasted salmon to eat. At the place called Copper Bottom, Coyote put ashore again and walked through the woods to a village where he saw an old woman steaming clover roots. The woman was blind, but right away she smelled him. Coyote, what are you doing here? She asked. He reached over and took a handful of clover roots to eat. What's this? Who's taking my clover leaves? She asked. Can't you see? The woman explained that she was blind. Coyote then took some pine gum and chewed it and spit it into the woman's eyes. Can you see now? He asked. Yes, I can see well, she said. Coyote told her where he was going. She told him to be careful and gave him some food to take with him. Coyote went on until he came to a woman working on a canoe. He went over and pinched the feet of her baby. The child began to cry, and the woman said, don't touch my child. He has never cried. She went back to working on the canoe, chipping at the inside, but she cut a hole through the bottom. Look at what you've done. Are you blind? Asked Coyote. Yes, I am, answered the woman. Coyote chewed some pine gum and spat it into her eyes, and then she could see. Where are you going? Asked the woman. I'm going to marry the daughter of always living at the coast, he said. You should be careful with her. She has teeth in her vagina. This is how she kills all the young men who come to see her. There and break the teeth off. The woman rubbed Coyote's back with a stone and gave him the masks of the wren, the deer, the mountain goat, and the grizzly bear. Coyote put on a mask that made him look older and went into the country of always living at the coast, where he sat down by a river. He had not been there long when the man's daughter, Death Bringing Woman, what a lovely name, came by with her friends and saw him. Oh, he would make a good slave, she said. Let's take him with us. So they took Coyote back to camp with them. That night, Death Bringing Woman asked Coyote to sleep with her. Coyote could hear the sound of grinding teeth from under her clothes. When he got into bed with her, he heard the sound of rattlesnakes. He pushed the he pushed the stone chisel in and twisted it sharply and broke off all the teeth in Death Bringing Woman's vagina. Then Coyote took off his mask. He said he was Coyote and he had come to marry her. They slept together. The next night, they arrived at the house of Always Living at the Coast. That night, Always Living at the Coast heard laughing coming from his daughter's bedroom. He got up from his bed and came into her room. Who is that you're laughing with, my daughter? He said. This is my husband. Welcome him. Always Living at the Coast welcomed Coyote and returned to his room. The next morning, Always Living at the Coast split some cedar and stripped the bark and made a snare trap. Then he went into his daughter's bedroom and said, Son in law, I want you to jump through that door into the center of the house. Coyote put on his deer mask and jumped through the door of the room right into the trap where the deer died. It serves him right, coming into my house and embarrassing me like this, said the old man. But Coyote took off the mask of the deer and went back into his wife's room. That night, the old man heard his daughter laughing again. The next morning, he made another cedar bark trap and told his son in law to jump through the door into the center of the house. Coyote put on the mask of the mountain goat and jumped into the trap, where he died at once. When the old man went out, Coyote took off the mask of the mountain goat and returned to his wife. Hey, Michelle, love you too. That night, Always Living at the Coast heard the sounds of two people making love again, and he called out, Who's in there with you, daughter? My husband, she answered. The next morning, the old man did as he had done before, making the trap and telling his son in law to jump into the dimness where it was concealed. This time, Coyote put on the mask of the grizzly bear and went out into the other room and crushed the trap. Then he sat down to eat. The old man was still thinking how he might kill his son-in-law. He asked Coyote to go with him by canoe across an inlet to the other shore where they would begin to work on another canoe. Coyote and the old man paddled across the water and went into the woods, where they felled a tree and began splitting the log. Coyote took up some alder wood and chewed on it while he worked. They were working along like this when Always Living at the Coast dropped his hammer into the split. He asked Coyote, who was smaller, to go down into the crack and get the hammer. When Coyote went in, the old man quickly knocked out the wedges, holding the split open. Coyote spit out of the alder wood, which looked like blood, and the old man thought his son in law was dead. This serves you right for thinking you could come and marry my daughter, he said, and he left. Coyote put on the mask of the wren and flew up out of the crack. He caught up with Always Living at the Coast. Why did you leave me behind there, father in law? The log closed up and I was almost trapped, asked Coyote. Oh, I'm glad to see you. I almost cried myself to death when it happened, said the old man. I was going home now to tell my daughter. I thought you were dead. I'm glad you got out. I didn't think it was possible. They both got into the old man's canoe and started paddling towards home. Coyote was chewing a piece of wood. When it was soft, he took it out, carved it into the shape of a killer whale, and threw it into the water. You will be the killer whales of future generations, he said. Just then, the killer whales came up out of the water and snatched, always living at the coast, out of the canoe. When he got home, Death Bringing Woman asked where her father was, and Coyote said he didn't know. Later, the woman had a son. One morning, Coyote took his son and went away. Strange way to end that story. I'm just so Coyote is considered one of the creators in some tribes. And so he chewed on this piece of bark and turned it into a killer whale. And whether or not he intended the killer whale to eat his father in law or not, eh. But there again, she had um, teeth in her vagina, like what? And there's some other stories about that called claws and whatever. But so other women knew about it and said, "Here, take this stone chisel and break them suckers off." Anyway, so is it porn? Well, he had to do this thing to the girl. And hey, David Castle, how are you? So, but there are some people who would um, kind of scratch their head and go, "Ain't that kind of dirty?" Well, again, it's your interpretation. But to some folks, my point about this is that even native peoples didn't have necessarily pornography, but they had stories that were risque, you know. Now, here's one, Ictomy and the Ignorant Girl. Okay. What time is it? It's 1:54 a.m. on March the 23rd, 2022. I do hope this finds you all as well as possible. And these are um, stories and legends from Native American myths and legends book that Robert and I use on Milky Way Soul Tribes channel. So, but these are some of the stories that I have edited in that I've chosen not to read them on his channel, but I think some of these stories are pretty good. And so I'm reading them here. All right. So that's the difference. So, Ictomy and the Ignorant Girl. Ouch. Again, it's Brule Sue. A pretty Winchinchala. One could assume it's a prostitute of sorts. Had never been with a man yet, and Ictomy was eager to sleep with her. He dressed himself up like a woman and went looking for the girl. He found her about to cross a stream. How mashke? How are you, friend? He said. Let's wade across the water together. They lifted their robes and stepped into the water. You have very hairy legs, said the girl to me. That's because I am older. When women get older, some are like this. They have hair on their legs. The water got a little deeper and they lifted their robes a little higher. You have a very hairy backside, said the Winchinjala to Iktomi. Yes, some of us are like that, he answered. The water got still a little deeper and they lifted their robes up very high. What's that strange thing dangling between your legs? Asked the girl, who had never seen a naked man. Ah, complained Dick to me. It's a kind of growth, like a wart. It's very large for a wart, she said. Oh, yes, yes, oh my. An evil magician wished it on me. It's cumbersome, it's heavy, it hurts, it gets in the way. How I wished I could be rid of it, said Ictomy. My elder sister, said the girl, I pity you. We could cut this thing off. No, 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 my younger sister, he said. There's only one way to get rid of it, because the evil growth was put there by a sorcerer. What might this be? The way to get rid of it? Asked the young girl. Ah, Maske, the only thing to do is to stick it in there between your legs. Is that so? She said. Well, I guess women should help each other out. Oh, yes. Pilame, he said. Thank you. You're so very kind. Let's get out of this water and go over there where the grass is soft. Spider Man made the girl lie down on the grass. He got on top of her and he entered her. Oh my, said the girl. It sure is big. It hurts a little. I think how it must hurt me, said Dick to me, breathing hard. It hurts a little less now, said the girl. Ictomy finished and got off the girl. The Winchinchalla looked and said, Indeed, it already seems to be smaller. Yes, but not small enough yet, answered Spider-Man. This is this is hard work. Let me catch my breath, then we must try this again. After a while, he got on top of the girl once more. It really isn't so bad at all, said the ignorant Winchinchella. But it seems to have gotten bigger again. It is indeed powerful magic. Ictomay did not answer her. He was busy. And then he finished. He rolled off. There's a little improvement, said the girl. Well, we must be patient and persevere, answered Ictomy. I can bear it, he said. I can bear it too, said the girl. It really isn't altogether unpleasant, said the girl, after they did it a fourth time. But I must tell you, elder sister, I don't believe you will ever get rid of this strange thing. I have my doubts too, said Spider Man. Well, said the ignorant Winchinchilla, one could get used to it, you know. Yes, Bosque, answered Ictame with a smile. One must make the best of it, but let's try just one more time to be sure. Now that one you could say, well, that one's a little dirty. Yeah, he entered her and he exited it, but to the point though. So they've had these stories, right? And but is it smut? Is it pornography? Is it, whose interpretation? Well, that's just a dirty story, is it? Um, he did fool her and all that. Um, but at the same point, it wasn't about rape. It was about deception. It was about how can I fool you and um they want to get the best of these ladies. But so I think it's sort of in human nature. Um, that just in living life, I have been in lots of different situations with different people. And I don't mean like, ooh, lewd or whatever. No, just so you never know what somebody's thinking. And I did a puppet show years ago at a nursing home. And there's this old man sitting in a wheelchair and he's thumping around. And I'm doing puppets around and talking with the old folks there who now are about my age. Oh, I had to get it in there, but at 69 and a half, I'm working on three quarters. Actually, is it a three? No, half. Anyway, so that, I'm like, hey, what do you want to do? We could play poker. And the old man says, well, let's play strip poker. And I'm like, really? He goes, so what do you want to do? And he goes, um, he tells me, the puppet, you get the cards and I'll get the girls. And I almost fell down. I'm in a nursing home 15 years ago, just doing some work and helping out and trying to get laughs into people. And here's this old man, like, he's like not paying attention, nothing's going on. And what comes out of his mouth? Strip poker, and he's going to get the girls. What? I'm still amazed. But having been 15 years older, I'm like, not that I have any girls to go get or anything, but I kind of see his point, like, hey, where's all the fun? Just because I'm old, anyway, and not to be pornographic about it, just human nature. Um, so the fact that native peoples in all different tribes, because these stories aren't in just one tribe or one region or one something, there are stories similar in all of them. Hey, Isby, how you doing? That's because they're in a nursing home doesn't mean they're dead. Absolutely. I pray they don't put me in a nursing home. Not that I get any dates or anything like that. That's not my point. But I've heard, and I've worked for some nursing homes as a maintenance man, but still working in the nursing homes. And, there's some shy hanky panky going on in some of the nursing homes. And I'm not saying it's good or bad or whatever. Actually, I'm like, if you two, as old as you are, can still do it and get away with it, more power to you. Clapping hands, right? So, but anyway, oh my God, in encouraging sex between old people. Well, I could think of a lot worse ways to go. St. Peter, how'd you die? Well, me and this old lady in the nursing home was having, coitus, and I think we both had heart attacks. What a hell of a climax that was, eh, Peter? Peter, ha 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 ha. Ha. Anyway, I know I have a perverse mind, but not to be nasty, but in human behavior, it's like there are lots of people who try to ignore the animalistic behavior of having sex with. It seems like these days folks will have sex with damn near anything. I mean, they've been having sex with goats for a long time and other farm animals, sheep. sheepishly bad for you. But and I did a play called The Laramie Project, where Sam Shepard, was it Sam? Um, Gay young man was beaten and pulled behind a truck, and then literally wrapped into a barbed wire fence. And in it, there was a discussion with one of the characters named Doc. And so in this soliloquy that I had to deliver, a short one, but that he says, here in Wyoming, where there are 10 men for every one woman, it doesn't take long for anyone living here to know who's getting whom. And it ain't always the girls that are getting whomed. And so it's like, so here you go. When you're lonely and out on the prairie, I guess it's Brokeback Mountain time, which, by the way, I've never seen the movie, but to the point though. So I ain't condoning none of this behavior, but we have to accept that it has been going on for a long time and probably ain't going to stop anytime soon. People are people and they're going to do what they're going to do when they're lonely on the prairie. And, but anyway, so, but with that said, the idea of sex in talking with some of these folks from different tribes, it's not something they go hee hee and hide and turn red and blush. No, they go, yeah, so what? They were having sex. Yeah, there's a story about, the rabbit and badger's penis being a drill bit kind of thing. And, just what? It's just nonchalance. It doesn't matter. It's sort of like being naked with a bunch of other people. Nobody cares, right? Oh, but yeah, he said penis. So, well, he said vagina, teeth in her vagina. So, just so it's a story. Oh yeah, but they said these words, and he entered into her, and ain't that like having sex? Well, yeah, people do have sex. Animals have sex. Human beings are actually like animals. We're not robots. So, how would robots do it with lubrication? I'm sorry, with hydraulic oil. You know, pumps. I'm sorry, but anyway, um, wait. There are a couple of other stories. Um, I didn't really have a theme for tonight, but I did feel like coming on and hanging out. And the best thing I could think of was short notice. I really have been wanting to do some of these stories, so that's not short notice. But as far as what would be a good way, you know what? Let's talk about porn. And I ain't really talking about porn. Um, but anyway, how different tribes and so forth, um, that there were stories of people copulating and um, I was looking for this other story, and I'm looking down and not looking. Here's one that's what's this? My balls for your dinner? Cute story, but because it's got balls in it and not necessarily sexual, but what you're going to eat your own anyway. So, it's 2:12 in the morning time here on Wednesday, March the 23rd, 2022. There's some serious weather going on in the middle of uh, the United States, and it's headed our direction. And here shortly, we should be getting some high winds and stuff coming in. One of the videos I did recently, a couple of times back, the storm was coming in. I was saying, well, here comes the rain. About that time, the lights went out and shut the computer off. So that was the end of that. But anyway, so I'm gonna start a little early because I'm gonna be reading this story when it hits 20. And um, Smoke, if you got them, and some coffee. Oh, by the way, just for conversation before I start this, I got my hand hurt when the top of a widowmaker tree fell out of the tree. Thank God it didn't hit me in the head and hit me in the hand. Um, but with that said, in walking around and looking at the wildlife and trees coming up and so forth, I managed to transplant about, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Well, 4 were fruit trees, 3 were pine trees, and 2 are large blueberry bushes. And I got some other trees to transplant as well. I know I haven't uploaded the pictures of what we cleaned up. And if it's going to be raining here in a little bit, that might be the perfect thing to do on a rainy day, because I ain't going to be able to go outside and run around. But Um, and that's why I ain't uploaded because I've been busy doing this other stuff. But transplanting trees, transplanting blueberry bushes, getting some things ready because it's almost April now already, and some of these things should have been transplanted a couple of weeks ago. Um, we had rain the other day, um, and we fixing to have rain here in an hour or so in our area, and it's supposed to rain pretty much all day tomorrow. But which means those things that I planted will get enough water so that they will, hopefully, get in. And since I cleared so much, I've also got a bag of seeds that I've got over here of some squash and zucchini squash and um, 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 okra and a couple of other things. Oh, cantaloupe and something else. I just wanted to get something started. And since I've got all this extra property, so to speak, right now that's open, that was all covered, I'm going to be planting some stuff out here in the yard and hoping that the rain and the weather and everything will cooperate. And if I have a decent bounty, I'll be able to share it with other folks. And I'll have good food too. So anyway, so this is it's 2:16 in the morning time. I'm going to good and token one more time before this. Happy 20, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully, everybody is safe and y'all doing as well as possible. Some people may think that, I'm joking about sending prayers to y'all, and I can't prove it. And um, to some people, what difference does it make? But I just want to tell you, um, I really do. Even walking through the woods or stuff, y'all come to mind, and I send prayers out to y'all. So, um, and whether y'all know I do it or not doesn't matter. You know, it's not about the recognition. But when I mention it, it's not because I'm trying to get brownie points or anything. I honestly mean it, and I do it free of charge. That's a messed up way of putting it. But I do it because I just, I feel it's necessary, and I agreed to do this as my shaman journey. So everybody's got their own path, their own journey, and I've talked about being a shaman in training. I'm still training. I am still practicing, but I gotta say though that the video I did the other night, coming through the woods with no flashlight and making it without any any serious injuries. It was the same day I hurt my hand, by the way. I wish they had, steered me away from that. But I did get the feeling that, you know, there was danger in that tree because it was rotten. I did not know that by me trying to get rid of a dangerous tree that it was dangerous to me. Okay. But oh well, it is what it is. But I realized there are so many things in my old age at 69 and almost three quarters, that I have allowed myself, some of these things that I do, like I was literally beating the heating element out of my hot water heater because it was stuck in there, and I want my hot water heater back. I'm tired of taking cold showers. And so um, I'm beating on this long steel chisel with a hammer head that's got about this big around. And the head of the chisel where I'm hitting is about the same size, meaning they're not very big. Now, as I try to explain to folks, there are those of us who work as carpenters, plumbers, mechanics, that we do certain things because we've just learned them and our brains trust them. We know we can put a wrench down into a certain area and find the top of the nut, with little or no trouble sometimes, where other people will fight and fuss because they can't see it. So I'm beating on this, I'm framming on this thing, okay, with this little hammer, but I'm still framming on it. Now I realized that while I was doing it, that I wasn't looking at the head of the chisel with the hammer. What I was looking at was where the chisel was on the hot water heater. So I'm beating this thing like this with the hammer, and I ain't looking at it. I'm not looking at the end of the chisel. I'm not looking at the hammer. But I only hit my hand once as a miss strike. And I went, "Ooh, that was close. I should have been watching more careful." But so I beat on this thing for on and off for 5 minutes, easy. But I stopped and realized, you know, I've been looking at the other end down there to keep it on so it doesn't slip off. And then I would hit myself with the hammer. But the size of the hammerhead and the size of the chisel and the fact that I did not clobber the crap out of my hand, beating on it like this to get it loose. So now, if I can beat on the end of a chisel without looking at it, right? Without looking at the hammer and the end of it, right? How in the hell do you do it? How the hell do I do it? Other people do it too. Here's the deal. As I've stated before, our brains always figure it out. We have to give in and have faith. I was a little worried at first because I was like, damn, that's a small chisel head and that's a little hammer. I could have picked a bigger hammer, right? But I only hit my slightly. It was hard enough to go, ooh, don't want to do that again. But how did I beat on it without having to look at the hammer and the chisel? Because it's in here. My brain's already calculated the distance. It already knows where it is in the third eye dimension. This hand knew where the end of the chisel was, and this hand knew don't move the end of the chisel, or the hammer hand's going to smack you one. So, but I made it through the whole thing and managed to get the heating element un, unlocked and undone so I could get it out. What a mess inside the hot water heater it is. But so in this today and doing this and going, you know, I've been doing this for years as a carpenter, driving nails. You don't look at the nails all the time, but your hand knows where they are. You start the nail in with a couple of taps, and then you bam, 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 bam. You don't like here's the nail, here's the hammer that you have to look at it every stroke. And well, just dumped all that out for my 20. Well, ain't that convenient? Well, it's about the end of this one anyway. But yeah, it's 223 and it's 323 in as the date. So there's a synchronicity right there. It's 2:23 a.m. on 323 2022. So as a shaman in training, I'm still noticing, learning, observing lessons. But what was interesting today was that I was like, I'm watching the end of the chisel and I'm beating the hell out of it. And I'm going, um, it's that I'm on Central Time too, Pearl. I refuse to move my clocks ahead. Anyway, I'm beating on this chisel, looking at the other, the down end of it, going, I'm framing the hell out of this thing. I hope I don't hit my hand, you know. And I just kept looking and pounding and looking and pounding. And I'd kind of glance over here every once in a while. And I just kept hitting it without missing. And so that's the belief in the higher self. There are things that people do, like sewing, they do it without even looking at it, right? But that's the power. That is the power of the ability. Okay. I hate to use that word power in those instances, but it is absolutely um, your ability. And we all have these natural abilities. So, with that said, I'm going to read this story about what's this? My balls for your dinner? So, how about that as a really crappy segue? But anyway, I'm my observation for the day. My shaman journey continues. The lessons still continue. Please don't give up. And here's another weird story from, the Native American myths and legends that we've been reading from now. Well, we did 23 episodes tonight, actually yesterday now, but anyway. So, White River Sioux. Let me get a drink and I'm gonna smoke this cigarette. This story's a little long. just not short and snappy. Hope you're doing well, Michelle. I want to call and have a chat with you, and maybe soon, just for the hell of it. Ictomy, the Spider Man, and Skunk Manito Coyote are two no good loafers. They lie, they steal, they are greedy. They are always after women. Maybe because they are so very much alike, they're friends. Except when they try to trick each other. One day, Ictomy invited Coyote for dinner at his lodge. Icto told his wife, "Old woman, here are two fine big buffalo livers for my friend Coyote and myself. Fry them up nicely, the way I like them, and get some timsala, some wild turnips, and on the side, and afterwards serve us up some wajapi, some berry soup. Use choke cherries for that." Coyote always likes something sweet after his meal. "Is that all?" asked Iktome's wife. "Well, I guess so. I can't think of anything else." "There's no third liver for me?" she inquired. "Well, you can have what's left after my friend Coyote and I have eaten," said Ictomy. "Well, I'll go out for a while. Maybe I can shoot a fine plump duck, too. Coyote always stuffs himself, so one liver may not be enough for him. But watch this good friend of mine. Don't let him stick his hands under your robe. He likes to do that." "Well, I'll go now," said Ictomy. "I have everything ready for us. Coyote never likes to wait." Ictomy left, and his old woman got busy cooking. "I know who's always stuffing himself," she thought. "I know whose hands are always busy feeling under some girl's robe. I know who can't wait. It's that no good husband of mine." The fried livers smelled so wonderful that the wife said to herself, "Those greedy, stinging, overbearing men, I know them. They'll feast on these fine livers, and a few turnips will be all that they leave for me. They have no consideration for a poor woman. Oh, that liver there looks so good, smells so good. I know it tastes good. Maybe I'll try just a little piece, just a tiny one. They won't notice." So the wife tasted a bit of the liver, and then another little bit, and then another little bit, and in no time at all, the liver was gone. "Well, I might as well eat the other one too," she said. And so she did. "What will I do now?" she thought. "When Ictomy finds out, he'll surely beat me, but it was worth it." Just then, Coyote arrived. He had dressed himself up in a fine beaded outfit with fringed sleeves. "Where's my good friend Ictomy?" he asked. "What's he up to? Probably no good." "Well, how are you, friend?" said the woman. "My husband Ictomy is out taking care of some business. He'll be back soon. Sit down and be comfortable." "Out on business, you don't say," remarked Coyote. quickly sticking his hand under the woman's robe and between her legs. Ictomy told me you'd try to do that. He told me not to let you. Oh, Ictomy and I are such good friends, said Coyote. We share everything. He joked. He chuckled the he chucked the woman under the chin. He tickled her under the arms, and pretty soon he was all the way inside of her. Way, way, way up inside of her. It feels good, said the woman. But be quick about it. Ictomy could be back any time now. You'd think he'd mind seeing we are such good friends? He asked. I'm sure he would. You'd better stop now. Well, all right, it smells very good here, but I see no meat cooking, just some timsala. Meat is what I like, said Coyote. And meat is what you'll get, she said. One sees this is the first time that you'll come here for dinner. Otherwise, you'd know what you'll get. We always serve a guest the same thing. Everybody likes it. Is it really good? Asked Coyote. Oh, it's more than good. It's like a wash tape. Very good. Coyote smacked his lips, his mouth just watering. I can't wait. What is it? Tell me, please. Why, your ikta, your susu, your eggs, your balls, your big hairy balls. We always have the balls of our guests for dinner. Oh my, this must be a joke. A very bad joke, said Coyote. It's no joke at all, she said. And I'd better cut them off right now with my big skinning knife because it is getting late. Icto gets mad when I don't have his food ready and he'll beat me. And there I was, fooling around with you instead of doing my cooking. I'll do it right now. Drop your loincloth there and you won't feel a thing. I'll do this so fast. I've had a lot of practice. The woman came after Coyote with the knife in her hand. Wait a bit, said Coyote. Before you do this, let me go out and make some water. I'll be right back. And saying this, he ran out of the lodge, but he did not come back. He ran and ran and ran as fast as his feet would carry him. Just then, Ictomy came back without any ducks. He had caught nothing. He saw Coyote running away and asked, Old woman, what's the matter with that crazy friend of mine? Why is he running off like that? Your good friend is very greedy. He doesn't have the sharing spirit, his wife told Ictomy. Never invite him again. He has no manners. He doesn't know how to behave. He saw those two fine buffalo livers, which I cooked just as you liked them, and didn't want to share them with you. He grabbed them both and made off with them. Some friend. Ictomy rushed out of the lodge in a fury, running after Coyote as fast as he could shout. Coyote, call a friend, leave me at least one. Leave one for me, for your old friend Ictomy. Coyote didn't stop. He ran even faster than Icto, running, 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 looking back over his shoulder and shouted, Cousin, if you catch me, you can have both of them. Told by the one left-handed bull family in White River, Rosebud Indian Reservation. So, good night, Pearl. What's for dinner? My balls for your dinner. So, Mrs. Ictomy had her own scheme, So, what's going on in the world as far as um, there always being a contest for the woman. And, the stories always tell kind of sort of the men's side of things versus, and, uh, there was an old story joke back in the day, you know, um, what is a woman in waiting? She's waiting for somebody to poke her, okay? Because back then they called that, you want, would you like a poke, sir? Would you like a poke, sir? So, but anyway, so those stories that I read, was it porn? You know, was it smut? Was it just a dirty story? But for those people who considered native peoples to be, savages and that they ran around with few clothes on, Good night, Chloe. Be sweet. I'm fixing to hit the bed too. But and I'm not trying to pick up any kind of like fight or argument or anything with the idea of porn. But somebody wears a short skirt, she's a slut. Uh, I don't know what guys are. They're horny bastards. But what do men wear that make them slutty? But so all of these standards of literally over thousands of years, okay? There are tribes where, the girl can only see through a little slit in a veil, if that's their religion. In other religions, the whole damn family pretty much naked, okay? And nobody cares. So, oh my God, there's Papa's Johnson. So, you know, Uncle Joe's got a Johnson too. Um, Here's the thing. We can blame this on Christian type or religions in that, modesty. Well, if you're already used to running around naked, then your version of modesty is different from somebody who whose skin is covered everywhere. They got their back in the Victorian days, they wore gloves. They had stockings that covered their ankles, and then they had dresses to their ankles, and then the only thing that really showed was their face and neck because they had high collars. So they didn't show off much, right? Which in a lot of ways made them more sexy. Okay. What? Yeah, more clothes makes them more sexy. There are some women, that are sexy and as hell with just a nightgown on or nightgown. Well, that too. I was thinking of an evening gown, in ballroom dancing. Beautiful woman. Take some of them clothes off and it's like, nah, that appeal just goes someplace else. It ain't there. Wait, baby, put them clothes back on for a minute. I'm sorry. But there is something about clothing and, quote, sex appeal from men and women's point of view. Okay. So, but if native tribes grew up without any clothing, um, did they like hide behind a banana leaf to like be sexy to her mate or whatever? I mean, this would just be interesting as an anthropologist. So, what makes sexy between folks who always have their clothes off, where that isn't an issue. So what makes them, look at each other? What makes that little churny? What makes it sexy between them? I, I don't know. That'd be curious, but maybe it's the telling of a story, like how Ictomy, slept with his wife by mistake, and it's ha ha ha, and oh, hey honey, speaking of Ictomy, would you like to enter me? You know, and ha ha ha. So maybe and I have seen things like this in the joking around of it. Yeah, come on, baby, let's go in the bedroom and play. All right, sweetie, come on. And next thing you know, you're doing some kind of Houdini thing. Um, but but to the point, between two consenting adults, you know, that's supposed to be the deal. But in a lot of other cultures, the men raping the women is like, come on, guys, let's go out and rape a bunch of women. What? No. But then there are those tribes where there are hundreds of people naked, but ain't nobody you know? So there's all these naked people. Quote, maybe it's somehow sexy or whatever. Ain't nobody doing it. So, but the people who think that these folks run around naked are savages, the ones with the clothes on end up being the savages. Ain't that weird? So, but cultures from different peoples and stuff. So, the biggest thing we should all know these days, ain't nobody's business but my own. If I want to run around naked down here in the woods, it's between me and the mosquitoes. You know. Anyway, I don't think I'll be doing it anytime soon, but that ain't the point. If I get a wild hair up my tootie that I want to go streaking through the backwoods, ain't nobody. Hopefully, well, maybe somebody would stop me, but that's not the point. It's that if there ain't nobody around and nobody sees me, I mean, is there anything wrong with me streaking through my own backwoods when there ain't nobody around? I mean, so there would be say, you took your clothes off? Yeah. And went running through the woods? Yeah. Why? Just for the damn hell of it. Just to have my junk flowing in the wind. Who knows, right? But then somebody else will go, wait a minute, that's immoral. There was nobody around. I'm in the swamp. I said, I just gonna run buck naked through down this trail here just for fun. So what's so fun about it? Seems like you're a pervert, Dave. You want to run naked in the woods? What are you thinking? I'm thinking I'm just crazy and this is just I'm gonna I'm gonna run naked just because I can. And then later on they go, why did you run naked? Because I was just feeling goofy. You know, anybody around? I don't know. I don't think the neighbors were watching, but I was just feeling so goofy about running naked through my backwoods that if they were watching, I hope they enjoyed it. Did you get a giggle out of it? I did. So, but I mean, here's the thing: naked man running through woods. That must be it's somehow pornographic. No, it's just a crazy person that decided to take his clothes off and streak. Ain't nothing more than that. That's it. Period. And anybody that tries to tie anything else onto the incident, they're the ones that are minds are pornographic, you see. So that's my little example in that. So he was naked. So what was he doing? Well, he was just naked. All right. But he was naked. Yeah. But he had no clothes on. Yeah. And well, he was naked. And well, naked people in public. I mean, but he was naked. All right. Okay. I get it. So, but anyway, people make way too much of stuff. Now, if there's a naked man in front of a bunch of school children doing the old Wootuki Dookie dance or something, okay. Now, where was he? Well, he was down in the woods by himself. Was there anybody around? Well, you couldn't see him until you got right down close to him. Oh, really? So he's down in the woods, kind of private, right? Dancing in the nude. Yeah. Nobody around. Nope. You couldn't see him until you got right up, what, next to him? Well, so, and you say, but he was naked. Yeah. Did he hurt anybody? Was anybody, did anybody, well, I saw him. Well, how'd you see him? Because I walked up on him. Oh, so you're the one that was stalking this man who came up on him for whatever reason is naked. And now you're going to report him because it's pornographic to you. Well, he was naked. I know. But he was in the woods. And, but he was naked in the woods. Ain't that perverted? In your mind, obviously. So the discussion is then very simply for those people, like, I was telling the true story that years ago when I was really, you know, my ex-wife had gotten the trailer out of the deal. So there was no indoor bathroom here for a while. I had I dug a pit toilet and went outside to do my business. I had a solar shower on top of the shed that was gravity fed, and I would take off my clothes behind the shed back here and take a shower in the evenings when I got done for work. So yeah, I was stripping down naked, and back then there weren't any trees on the hill, so but I was behind the shed on my own property. Now, had some of the local church ladies come down here to invite me to go to the Baptist church on just on the other side of the river. In fact, we kind of share property lines, which is the middle of the river back there. Their property down to the river and my property down to the river. So anyway, we're kind of neighbors in that way. So they come down in a big old Buick or something, and because I'm looking around, I hear the vehicle and I look around the side of the shed and I'm naked as a jaybird because I have left my clothes just inside the door, which is about 10 feet away from the back of the shed, right? And all I got to do is this little streak. So what do I do? They come out, I'm standing there. So I took my little washcloth and I put it in front like Adam would have done a fig leaf and walked out and said, "Hi y'all, how you doing?" OMG, right? Oh my God. So I was embarrassed for them because like y'all drove up here damn near into the back of the shed looking for my ass. And I'm a long way from the road. It ain't like, you came down here into my territory. Now, minding my own business, taking a shower in the evenings like I normally do, but because of circumstances, I have to take it outside. And I don't want to take a shower with my clothes on. And don't normally nobody come down right there to the shed when I'm taking a shower. So I'm sorry y'all showed up when you did, but you think I'm perverted. See, they drove up, I'm naked. Yeah, but I was just taking a shower. And under the circumstances, my shower's outside. So, I mean, but no, I'm the perverted hippie man who's naked outside, 350 feet from the road and down the hill behind a shed in the swamp. I'm the perverted one. I think the ladies who saw me naked were the perverted ones, because they thought it was perverted. That's my point. I wasn't doing anything nasty. I was taking a shower. So the idea of porn, I have to take it into context and who's watching what, okay? Well, it's two people doing it. Okay. Is that pornographic? Well, there are two men and women doing it. Okay. Are they both having fun? Yeah, looks like it. Um, is he like, hurting her or anything? No, but she's, she's making a lot of noise. Okay. So what makes it pornographic? But there's the man and woman doing it like live and in color on the internet. Okay. So what you doing watching it to begin with if you think it's perverted? Well, but I saw them doing it, and well, and so why didn't you just turn it off then? Well, cause cause what? Well, I was curious. That's why. Really? You curious? Well, I saw him and her, and I've never seen two people like that doing. And whoa, boy, she was just a hollering. Really? Yeah. So, but now the person has like, I saw it on the internet, and from some reliable sources that there are children who are watching anime porn on their cell phones on the way to school in the mornings. Middle school kids, okay? 10, 11, 12, 13 in that area watching anime porn on their cell phones on the school bus on the way to school. That's what's going on now. So, what's pornographic? Now, I bring this up simply because here are these kids. Now, when I was on a school bus growing up, the idea of a Playboy never showed anything below the waist. It always had to be covered up until so a woman's breast naked, open, was like oh my god. Now they're watching all different kinds of porn with body parts and this and that and animals and monsters, and they're coming up with all kinds of stuff. I'm like, what kind of dreams do you people have? I'm just saying. So, but the idea of porn now, the idea of porn then, I have asked some folks, so y'all slept in the same teepee, right? Yeah. Now there's a scene in Dances with Wolves where they're in the same teepee, and over there is this couple, and over here is Kevin Costner and his girlie, and they look across the campfire, and they look back across the campfire, and they go under the covers, and they go under the covers, and it's just ignored. It's just, oh, mom and daddy are having sex over there on the other side of the teepee. Yeah, I just, go to sleep. So it's not that they're having sex in front of the kids, but they are in the same teepee. Now, uh, one would say, oh my God. Well, listen, me and my brother's bedroom was right across the hall from mom and dad's, okay? And when they were in a heated moment, the bed was squeaking, the bed was a moving and hitting the wall. The groans and the cries of ecstasy were easily heard behind closed doors, their closed doors and ours. And we always wondered what the hell they was doing in there. But it wasn't like we didn't hear it. Okay, we didn't see it, but we heard it. So well, they were in a TV. Well, we were in a house. So this idea that somehow one makes it more pornographic than another. So growing up as kids in Florida and so forth, um, I would say it was not uncommon for all of us to be sitting around in our underwear, mom included. She had a bra on and panties. Dad was in his underwears, you know, his boxers, and us kids in our underwears. It was hot, middle of summer in Florida, back in the 60s. You stripped down. It was never an issue that, oh my God, we saw Ma in her bra and panties. It just was not an issue. Okay. It wasn't done in any sexual manner. It was like we were all wearing bathing suits, but not. So, but other people, I mentioned this a couple of years ago and they said, you all sat around in your underwear? Yeah. In the house? Yeah. Watching a movie on TV, sitting on the couch? Yeah. What about it? Oh my God, today they would have all the kids put into a home and the parents would be arrested. And I stopped and I thought about it and I went, you're right, probably. That there was no deviant anything. It's one thing I got to say about my pops. I asked my sister, we talked about it. He was always a gentleman. There was never any whatever. Can't say the same for Bessie, though. She was just weird. But with that said, when we were all present watching a movie, sitting in our underwear with popcorn and watching a movie, it was just normal. So for us, there wasn't anything in it. It was not sexual in any way. Because it was we're just sitting around in our, bathing suits. Other folks looking in from that, oh my God, what a perverted family. And it wasn't. So, what is pornographic to one family, one group, one tribe, one religion, or whatever? And, having gone through the Catholic Church with all those pedophile priests, you know, talk about deviant behavior. So, just saying. But so what's pornographic? And were native peoples actually pornographic? Was it smut that they were peddling in the stories that they told? I think they were just kind of, hey, you know, it to me, his wife tricked him, and hey, what about this one? And it to me, tricked the ignorant girl. And after a while, she was like, this is kind of fun, which is humorous. Like she started out like, ow, this hurts. And now after the fourth time, she's like, wow, this is pretty cool. So that's humorous, Um, but to other folks, oh my God, that's a nasty story. When actually it's really just, ain't it just a description of human behavior? I mean, whether Ictomy was actually a spider or a true person, he seduced a young lady who ended up, after four times, so that's the story. Um, in a lot of ways, it's probably true, some way, shape, or form. A young woman was seduced by an older gentleman, and blah, 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 blah. And it still happens to this day. There are older women who seduce younger men and younger women. But so it ain't nothing new, is my point. And it only depends upon your own point of view as to whether or not it's pornographic or smutty or dirty or whatever. It's kind of sort of what the eyes of the beholder. So I'm not trying to convince you into accepting something that you don't. But at the same time, what one person thinks is dirty as hell and nasty, blah, 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 ain't nothing to other folks. They don't even, in a way, they can't see it the way you do because their minds are open to the fact that, so what? I'm naked, but you don't have any clothes on. I know I'm naked. Yes, but what? My butt's showing. Okay. And I can see that rose shaped tattoo on your hairy ass. Well, okay. It's got to have some place to grow. Why not on my hairy ass? You know. But to the point, though, we should be careful before we judge someone else's um, what is pornographic. Now, there are folks who do stuff with their children that is damn sure inappropriate. And I have gone back over in my head, sitting in her underwear at home in the 60s with no air conditioning. Was that really somehow deviant? I could see where other folks would think so, but it wasn't at the time. You know, we could have all put on our bathing suits. Would it made it any different? I don't really think so, because it wasn't like Ma was trying to show off everything. She was basically a modest woman. So I don't see it that way, but I could see where defects would want to take us kids away and put us in a home. What time is it? I'm fixing to get out of here. It's 3:03 in the morning time, 3:23, 2022. So here's a last 20. It's the bottom of the bowl. What's the difference in unders and bathing suits? Right, Isby. But I mean, I understand where other people with their perversions and in their mind would go, they're all sitting around in their underwear. Well, that is the truth. A lot of people would rather watch a horror movie than porn. Like they like watching people and dying and getting slit apart with blood everywhere, you know. Um, I know one of my ex-wives was into some very twisted. She got off on seeing body parts from bad accidents and train wrecks where people are mangled and shit. She had a really warped sense of, I don't know. I couldn't look at the stuff she did. I mean, I could not. And she was like, look at this. And I go, damn, man, what's up with you? Well, look at this. Oh, holy crap. And this girl was caught in it. I don't want to look. Shredded people and arms and legs and stuff. And I'm like, that. And she really liked it. Okay. So I don't know. You just never know. I didn't know none of that until after we was married 5 or 6 months. And she's like, look at this accident here, and there are body parts everywhere and parts of a face missing and gross. But at the same time, and I agree with you to the point though, Isby, I thought that was pornographic because of the way she was getting off on watching, looking at all this dead shit and mangled people and stuff. But she thought that certain acts between a man and a man and a husband. Well, that too. But I mean, the idea of you know the uh, the Kama Sutra was like, oh no, you can't do any of that. Ooh, bad, nasty. Ooh, but she's looking at body parts and people split in half and shit. What's pornographic? You know, I'm sorry. I'd much rather watch two people getting it on than seeing people's insides split open and head. I mean, I don't mean as a horror. She was looking at the real deal, right? Um, autopsy reports and just sick shit, in my opinion. But two people getting it on, oh no, that was nasty. That was dirty. That was and so, but seeing dead body parts and everything was like, and she got off on it. Let's be honest, okay? She got off on it. I'm not sure about the sexual part, but she got gratification from looking at those pictures. Why? Because she couldn't stop looking at them. She would go back to them and look at them again. That's perverted. If somebody said, "Man, I come across these pictures of this accident. Can you see this? Holy crap. Ain't that bad? Oh, man." But to go back and go, "Oh, look at this, and look how the head's missing, and that's weird." We ain't married no more either, but uh, you know, not that I did, but if I were to have been looking at a Playboy picture or something and been caught pulling my pud, okay, over a picture of something, that would have been nasty, okay, which in a way is more natural than not, but to the point, her getting off on looking at body parts and dead people and stuff, okay, your version's all right. Masturbation in a picture is God's going to kill us all, and all right. One's so nasty over the other. Just saying. But anyway, so porn. From their point of view, was it really porn? Was it smutty? Or was it just them telling a story of human behavior and deviations and, you know, husbands trying to sleep with other wives and wives wanting to sleep with other husbands too? It always goes both ways. So the woman with the teeth in her vagina. I mean, come on. Very loud noise, odd at this time of night. Yeah, can't watch those at all. But anyway, but to the point, to me, I think that a lot of this bloods, guts, and gore and stuff that people are so fascinated with, in my humble opinion, is more harmful than watching two people getting it on. Just saying. Now, I don't mean some of the other deviant porn. I'm just saying, let's just stick with some common stuff, man and a woman. And there are husband and wife teams that, have live stream cam shows. They do it for fun and profit. Not me, but, if they want to do it, and they do, um, but they ain't killing anybody. There's no blood, guts, gore, but that's pornography. Even though it's a husband and wife, they're just sharing their intimate moments. Okay. Um, but killing and maiming and and slashing and gore and guts and all that, that's just acceptable to put on any television, anytime. Well, warning, this is made for mature adults. Okie dokie, everything's safe then. So I think we should have a discussion about what might be pornographic, like too much blood, gore, and guts. Can we not say maybe that's too much? Some games and things where people are shooting each other in the well, it's just a war game. Yeah, I know, but you're still shooting somebody. You're still seeing their head blow off. Yeah, but it's a game. Yeah, but you just blew somebody away. I know, man. I was using a 50 caliber and blah blah blah. Are you not like listening to yourself here? But blood, guts, gore, shooting, killing, maiming, and winning in the war games is great. Personally, I find that distasteful. I find it personally pornographic to me and would rather not watch that. Now, it's not like I'm just saying, if you say watch blood, gore, guts, or two people doing it, I'm picking the two people because I'm just not into the blood, gore, guts thing. I don't want to be into the blood, gore, guts thing. I'm not saying that, oh, goody, two people doing it. No, if my choice is, I'm going to go with the other simply because I find it less offensive, is the simple point. That's all. It's less offensive to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hobos and tramps, cross-eyed mosquitoes, and bow-legged ants. It has been a lovely pleasure hanging out with y'all tonight for 2 hours and 25 minutes. I've had enough for the day. It's been a very busy day. Lots of things got done. Other things didn't quite get done, but they're working on the way. My hand will mend. It's very sore. I need to put me and my hand down and rest. So I love you all. Keep it between the ditches. I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Every day, me and Duggar go out to chase woolly boogers in the woods. We continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and relations will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. We love you, Bob. Thank you. Hey, Sheila, how are you? I'm fixing to go to bed. Um, I came through your backyard the other night, being on the river and stuff. We need to just have a chat because I've been in the backyard with kayaks and stuff, and it's been an absolute ball. But there's a couple of trees across the river, and we can't get all the way down. But I have been sneaking in your back. I'm down on the river back there to see what the river itself looks like. Oh my goodness, it looks good. But anyway, Miss Sheila, hope you're doing well, and thank you for the last meal you sent me. By the way, huggy huggies. I love you for what you do. Thank you. Hi, Ricky, if you're awake. I'm fixing to catch some sleep, and for us down here, we're fixing to get some storms coming in. I'm praying that um, nobody gets injured. It would be nice if no property got damaged as well. But in that law of three, I do continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many, many, many blessings that are out there in the universe. All you have to do is open yourself up. And before you accept something as real, the spirits should also give you a sense of wisdom. There are people who say, well, I had this in a dream. It must be true. And my spirit guide says, wait, hang on, right away. Tell this person to stop a minute and think through what they think is true. And so, my dear friends, we receive a lot of things in our dreams and our forethoughts, visions, kind of thing, little whoop de doos with our instincts. And that's okay. But not everything we see in a dream is the future. Okay. Discernment. So the dreams you have, ask the universe, is this really a dream? Before you accept it as positive truth that you are now a fortune teller and that this is what's going to happen. Maybe not. So, in being able to discern what might or might not happen in the future comes from observation, comes from wisdom, and it comes from the universe. All of the above. But when you get this information, you have to think about it logically and with an open heart to the universe, because there might be a part of that dream That's absolutely correct. And the rest of it's just a movie. So I love you all. Keep practicing, keep learning, keep it between the ditches. Down here in the South Georgia, we're going to have to be careful of them slippery dirt roads here shortly. So wherever you are, please be safe and stay out of the chaos. A lot of people talking about the chaos. I've been talking about staying out of the chaos for years now, long before the COVID and all this other stuff. So please don't allow yourself to be drawn into some of these things. There are more and more people realizing that the Russia Putin thing, that there's much more to it than everybody's talking about. There's more discussion about Biden and the laptop, which got real quiet for a while. And now all of a sudden is starting to be big news. Oh, Hunter Biden's laptop got all this information on it. There are folks who swear it does exist and that there is this information on it. Okie doke. All right. It'll prove that Putin was right about stuff and that this is a a scheme connived and cajoled by those folks over here, like the Bidens. Yes, there are people getting killed. Yes, there are bombs going off. I'm not trying to that, but whose fault it is and where all this blame and all this other stuff, totally different story. Let's put them folks who did wrong in jail, like Hunter Biden, his buddy who got arrested a couple of months ago on the same charges fighting for now in the Ukraine. Pay attention. Folks are getting into the real news and going, wait a minute, this happened like 6 years ago. And when he was vice president, yeah, all of us have been trying to tell you, remember? So, my point about this is there's a lot of truth out there that's been there all along, not just about the Bidens, but it's been covered up, smothered up, and otherwise just, don't look over there. So, be safe, stay well, and I am praying for y'all. Okay. So, and personally, I don't think they're going to push the button, to end the planet. There may be some ETs that do some stupid shit and want to blow up the planet, but it ain't going to be Russia. All right. I don't think it's going to be Kim Jong Un, whatever, because he ain't got but so much stuff. And it'd be easy to drop a giant nuke on Korea and just stop that shit. So, he'd be an idiot to really try something, try something. Same thing with China. They don't want to blow up the world. Then who's going to buy their products? So just think about we're all going to die somewhere. It's more closer to nuclear war. No, it ain't. Why? Because too many people realize the consequences. They've seen the pictures of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and they really don't want that. So be sweet. Don't play into it. Please don't give them your energy and ask other folks to calm down and don't be, you know, stop worrying about stuff. Quit giving the evil side their energy. So I personally believe that we're going to make it to the other side. I personally, how? I don't know. I wish some of these good ET would come down and go, gang, we've had enough of this shit. Here we are. We're over here battling some of these guys in the Ukraine. One reason why Putin started the war the war, the aggression, was to drive some of these other bad ET robot types out. Okay. So we'll see. I love y'all. There's more to the story than any of us know. But stop. Let's get off that train that it's all Russia's fault. Oh, by the way, just as an addendum to that, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video and I said, it ain't Russia's fault about the oil because of the percentage of oil that we actually got from Russia or get. And there are a lot of other people who are doing their own checkups going, this ain't right. Russia didn't cause this. Whether Russia's at fault in the Ukraine, politicians, folks, talking about um, that it's Russia's fault that all these prices are going up. I went to the store today to buy some plumbing parts for my septic tank and things, which has been stopped up. And lo and behold, this one sweet tea, 3 inch, $18. Now, a couple of months ago, it would have been 6 or 7. It just didn't double in price, it's tripled in price. Now, well, it's because of the oil. Well, they're saying it is. And the reason plastic pipe is on this why has it tripled in price deal is because guess what? It is made from petroleum byproducts. Oh, it's linked to petroleum, therefore the price must go up. And it has, times 3. So it cost me a fortune today to buy a couple of couplings and a sweet tea, which is just common stuff for, this, what I'm working on, like $50. What? It should have cost me 50 bucks. Yep. So hang on, folks. Did it cut into some of my other monies? Yeah. I'm gonna have to quit spending and quit eating till I get my next check in April. Cause man, trying to fix my truck and fix the plumbing, I'm broke. Okay, that's it for the month. Month's almost done. It's the 23rd. Wait, or 4th. Crap. Oh, I was looking at the time. Oh, it's 3:24 a.m. and it's 3:23 the date. So, my friends, I said goodbye a long time ago, but adios again. I don't know if there's going to be a timeline shift or split or whatever. Isby, been listening to this timeline stuff, and there was a couple of months ago. It was going to be February that something was going to happen. Then it was going to be mid-February. Something was going to happen. It was going to happen by the end of February or the 1st of March. Nothing's happened. Then it came out. Watch for the 14th of March. Okay, it's now the 23rd of March and still ain't heard, still ain't seen. I don't know what you people are talking about, but okay. So the I've been waiting for years for ET and these folks that keep claiming they're going to be here, do something, whatever, and they still haven't, you know. Hey, Alex. So I would love it if some of these folks showed up, but they've been talking a good line for a long. Remember, the event's going to happen soon. Are we still waiting on that one? I still wished it would happen. I think the shift's going to happen in 2024. Well, they said stuff about 2012 too. All right. And they said stuff about 2017. They said stuff. I mean, I don't know, Alex, honestly. Okay. Well, now it's 2024, and I'm not picking on anybody or whatever. It could happen flipping in a couple of seconds. But I'm still here, still waiting. I think we're gonna. Oh yeah, I absolutely have seen them myself, Alex. Not met them personally, but have seen the ships. The other night, me and a friend were standing outside, and it was chilly after the rain and everything. And I said, "Look down south." I said, "You see that bright object in the sky?" Yeah. I said, "Have you seen it? It wasn't there yesterday." Blah blah blah. That ain't a star. It's twinkling. It's doing this thing. And we stood there and watched it for several minutes, and it never moved. And it ain't a planet. It's not a star. It ain't none of that. And it's the ET I've been watching for years now out my back door. Just got back from Illinois, locked the front door. Oh, boys, got to sit down and take a rest on the porch. Anyway, imagination sets in, so pretty soon we're singing. Do it, do, looking out my back door. Anyway, so, but absolutely, ET's here. Been here a long time, right? Not just recently. And whether or not they show up in some political thing and they stand up and say, look, yes, there's been a war on this planet for a long time. And yes, we're here and trying to stop it before they pull any more stupid shit. And yes, we want you to know so you can help us stop this thing. That's what I think they ought to do. They ought to come in and go, listen, world, there are those folks over there who are nasty mofos. And we have been trying for thousands of years to get rid of their nappy ass. And right now, instead of staying hidden or cloaked anymore, we're here. We want you to know. Please help us to get rid of them guys, gals, whatever them critters are. The reptilians, maybe. So, but anyway, yeah, they have been assisting us. I absolutely believe that. I mean, the weird contacts that I've had with ET, my spirit guides or whatever, and I've talked about them before. They tell me to go outside and look in a certain direction up in the sky, and you see this ship being blown up all over the sky. And then I go on meteors.com and I try to report it at least three times. I thought it was four. Nobody, nope. There was such a huge display this one night, early morning, about one ish in the morning. Lit up the sky. I mean, all over this shrapnel everywhere. Not a word. Nope, never happened. Nothing to see here. And every time I tried to fill out what I seen on the national thing, it kept getting wiped. So three times I'm positive I tried to enter into the database the event that I saw, time, date, all that good stuff. Never got to the server or whatever. They deleted that shit. But at the same time, for me and my spirit guide learning, they were like, because I had asked, I said, look, if there's something going on, y'all let me know. Because I know y'all up there, you ain't got to land in the yard for me to believe you. But I would absolutely love to see something because right now I'm just running on belief. And I'm good with that because I've seen anomalies before. So my prayer to them folks, I said, if there's an event or something going on, tap me on the shoulder and warn me. Let me go outside and look. Well, they have tapped me on the shoulder many times, gone out and looked up at the sky, and they go, "Here, look up over here, towards this direction." And you look up, and there's this boom thing that happens, and you go, "What the hell was that?" So number one, I'm listening to my spirit guides. They ask me, "Go outside, look up." Okay, so that's faith on my part. Exactly, faith. There you go, Michelle. You wrote it. So you have faith that, and then they go, look up to your left. Okay, boom, there it is. So for me, are there aliens? Well, there's something. And are they communicating with us? They're communicating with me because they just told me to go outside and watch this thing get blowed up. Uh, and I can't prove it any of y'all because I don't have any pictures, right? But I can tell you that for every time they told me to go outside and look, there's always been some kind of event. For me, it's absolutely proof positive. My spirit guide, angel guide, whatever is connected. Because when they tell me and I go look, there it is. Um, there may be 1 out of 10 times that maybe I'm looking in the wrong place or whatever, or there ain't something that ain't like, boom, there it is. But most of the time, 1 out of 20, I mean, most of the time. So it reinforces my understanding of the telepathic force in the universe, my connection with my spirit guide and with my guardian angel folk, and that somehow the connection is with ET. And I hope it's the good guys. You know, I keep getting information and confirmation from different areas that, somebody in the Charistus force keeps an eye on me. Um, Okie doke, because I know where my allegiance is, and ain't nobody going to change my mind on that. So, do I know people in the cause personally? Whatever. Many of you are working for the cause because you believe in it and you have faith. See, that's a good thing. Cheers, right? So, dear friends, please be safe. Yeah, blessings and cheers right back at you. So, yeah, Babylon is falling. It is an awesome time. I agree with that. And for those of us, um, whether you're being called star children or star seeds or whatever, okay, we all are star children, star seeds, by the way. But I believe more and more that many of us did choose to be here at this time. My shaman in training, other people and their life's lessons, their journeys. And you got to scratch your head and go, we had to have agreed to some of this. We had to have known in our soul selves before we got here that these were going to be interesting times. So there are folks out there who are bitching and complaining, oh, I got to go through all this. And me, now I did do that 5 or 6 years ago or more, but now it's an adventure. Come on, folks, let's see what happens next. Let's see what crazy shit these crazy people are going to try next and how they're going to try to convince us that this is real. So be sweet, be safe, be happy, and for God's sakes, laugh about some of this crap. Because, it is really rather humorous when you get right down to it. If just today, in pop topping them across a couple of the yesterday and today, but it kind of the Hunter Biden laptop thing, if it really surfaces, it's gonna get real interesting. The show, get y'all's popcorn. The show ought to be. It should make um, the trial of O.J. Simpson uh, look like a Little Rascals uh, performance. It's gonna be epic, and they keep hinting it. The laptop, the laptop, the laptop. And it's one of those things that went deadly silent. I mean, nobody talked about the laptop for a period of time that was like for a while. And now it is again a hot topic. So my future, what's going on in the future, y'all keep your third eye on that. Now, my third eye, I want them to make something. If they've got it, honestly, then I want them to go ahead and do it. Bring it out, show folks, let's get it on, you know. So I think there's going to be fireworks and a lot of fun coming up. So y'all be safe, keep it between the ditches, and I honestly hope to see you soon. So cheers, everyone. Yep, the show must go on. And, they want the show, but this is an interactive game. And I'm sorry, if we all choose not to go along, hey, y'all stand over there. No, what? Well, you got to stand over there. It's in the plan. No, what are they going to do? Oh, by the way, the last 2 days in the sky, a great big giant X. I don't mean, I mean an X. They have filled the skies with pollution these last 2 days unmercifully. I mean, cobalt blue skies, 10, 11 in the morning, destroyed by 12. Can't see the sky for all of the chemtrails. And they're just pouring it out, buddy. This way, that way, crisscrossing. Don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell the deal is that for whatever reason these last 2 days it's been so heavy. But dude, whatever's falling to the ground, if it ain't killing us, it could. So be safe, you know. So anyway, be safe. Yes, we've got incoming of all kinds of stuff. But rather than be worried about it, ain't it exciting to wonder what's going to happen next? I mean, look at it as an adventure, my friends, because it ain't over yet. So, adios, y'all. See you next time. Please be safe. And be safe, be safe, be safe. And as I always say, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. So it's out there in the universe. Go get it. See yous.